All right, y'all. So we're gonna do that small story time of Milwaukee Avenue. When I was walking down the Franklin station, um, I was walking down a block that's a block off of Milwaukee Avenue. Now, Milwaukee Avenue is a historic district. It almost feels like you're in the suburbs. There's no alleys. You see what I'm saying? There's no alleys in um in Block E, or not Block E. There's no alleys when you're walking through Milwaukee Avenue, and I'm gonna show y'all a few pictures. I probably should have got a little bit more footage, but it was cold, so I'm gonna show you what I have right now. We'll go ahead and play it. All right, so put my gloves on. This, you can see, this says private parking, dead end. That's the Milwaukee neighborhood. It's a block I spend a lot of time on. Now, back over behind here, that's where Milwaukee's at. Milwaukee's right behind it. I'm gonna give y'all a little story on that too. It was this, if I call it, Chocolate Mocha Part 2. She lived behind here. I used to sell mixtapes and stuff to her. Couldn't really deal with her because of her attitude. I just went over her house maybe once or twice. Nothing materialized whatsoever. But I couldn't really, So I'm gonna do a story time for that. But I ain't really make a lot of money over here. All my money was mainly over south. So I gotta jump back in here in a second. Yeah, jump in the car. Okay, so Milwaukee Avenue, as you can see, it's a pretty decent neighborhood. Now, you got the mayor, and I got certain things, but I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of history on Milwaukee Avenue. So it's a historic district, and it's in the sewer neighborhood. And those houses, if you see how those houses look, this is how they look. They're real nice looking houses, mostly made of brick. There's a couple houses on the other block that are like that, but they're generally made of brick. Okay. So initially that neighborhood, the architect that built a lot of those houses was William Reagan. And there's 4 houses that's in the Milwaukee Avenue Historic District that were built in 1885 by William Reagan. So in the early 19th century, Minneapolis was growing a lot. From 351%, it says, from 1880 to 1890. So you had a lot of people that were moving in. The housing was cheap, and it was needed for immigrants that were new to Minnesota. So they said when World War II came, the houses on Milwaukee Avenue were failing in disrepair. So they had to, this was due to the neglect of the Great Depression and wartime and all that. So they had to get those, they had to get them, back together. And so they feature some houses on WCCO and Finding Minnesota. There's what they call the Finding Minnesota series. They feature some of those houses in 2005, and it was a video segment talking about the residents of, some of the people. Like, they had this guy named Bob Roscoe. He was an activist, and he fought to save Milwaukee Avenue. Milwaukee Avenue, if you ask me, it would be considered to be a coveted place. Now, because Franklin right now and the Seward neighborhood has been decimated, um, they moved all the homeless and all the addicts all the way down here. This was not by accident. You know, Franklin has always been kind of crazy, but there's a string of houses that, you know, like I say, it's not a lot of stores over there back towards the Milwaukee area. You got to kind of walk up to Lake Street, or you got to walk back up to Franklin. So there's not a lot of reason, unless you're just walking through the neighborhood, there's not a lot of reason for you to just hanging out. But because of fentanyl and everything else, you got a bunch of people that just kind of just be walking around. You might have somebody sleeping on your porch if you don't lock your porch. It's the neighborhood is not how it used to be. The neighborhood notoriously started getting worse after the Floyd lynching. It started a little before that, but it just all went to hell afterwards. The city just pretty much just, you know, but that specific place, like, I'm going to show you the association right here, the Milwaukee Avenue Homeowners Association. So they give you a little bit more history on it. This is what some of the houses look like. And this whole block right there, you see how you can just walk through. It's almost like being in the suburbs, but you're not in the suburbs. Right here, here's another picture. The average house may be going, you're going to pay $400 or some $1,000 for a house that's like this. They're very, very nice houses, and they're made of brick. So you ain't got to worry about them getting blown away. As you can see, they also mentioned here the Milwaukee Road, Rock Island Sioux line. This is the depot. Remember, I used to work down there. I told y'all that story about me working down there and everything. So the time that I had went, it was somebody that was either renting a house or renting a room. But I remember it being on Milwaukee Avenue because when I think this girl, she rented a room. So she used to call me up for CDs and stuff. I mean, real nice looking chocolate sister. She kind of reminded me of Foxy Brown a little bit. She looked a little better than Foxy Brown, but she kind of reminded me of Foxy Brown. I mean, she was something else. And you know, so I came over there and I got her, she wanted mixtapes and stuff like that. So, like I say, I didn't really make a lot of money around in that area. Most of those folks are homeowners. That just wasn't an area that, that you're just going to kind of, like I say, that area is most of the people there's not a lot of renters on Milwaukee Avenue. Most people are homeowners. So, at one point, I think she was trying to talk to me a little bit or whatever, but I think, like I say, I didn't feel like I had a whole lot to offer. She had a kid and everything. And so I was kind of like, well, I know what comes with that. And in her attitude, she had a lot of high guard up. I think she had a lot of potential for somebody, but she had a lot of high guard up. So probably mad at her baby dad, had a bum baby dad, whatever the case may be. So, like I say, at that time, I didn't really have any kids. So I didn't have to subject myself to what I didn't want to subject myself to. I was a young dude that was getting a couple bucks, and I didn't have to depend. I didn't have to depend on living with nobody. You see what I'm saying? Around that time, I may not have had an apartment, but I mean, like a lot of times what dudes would do in Minneapolis, they just go lay up at a female's house. They wouldn't go get their own spot. They would just go lay up with them. So I didn't have to do that, and especially when I had my own place, so I didn't come from the homosexual struggle, where I'm struggling for a place to stay. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's my little story on Milwaukee. But what I'll tell you is this: going back over here, let me see if there's anything else. Matter of fact, let's go on Zillow. I just want you to see how much the houses are. Somebody done turned on the heat. It's getting hot in here. So I'm gonna type in Milwaukee Avenue so you can kind of get an idea on how much the houses will cost. Now that's not really, that's in PA. I don't know why it showed me that. Not sure why it showed me that. So let me figure this out real quick, because this is acting kind of stupid. And I'll just show y'all. This will be quick. Not at all. Okay. I want to see if I could find something on here. All right, here we go. I wasn't lying to y'all. You could see the houses are half a ticket. This is a 2-bedroom. This is a 2-bedroom. That's what you getting on Milwaukee. So now y'all understand. This ain't West River Road. This ain't West River Road, y'all. This is Milwaukee Avenue. This is not West River Road. Well, DP, if you had half a ticket, would you buy one on Milwaukee Avenue? If I found a 4 or 5 bedroom, I'd probably do it in a heartbeat. I don't even want to live in the city. I don't even want to live in the city. But this is, now you see why it costs what it costs. You're paying for location, and you're paying for how the house, like they remodeled theirs. That's why they're selling it for that much. But it's only 2 bedrooms. You're only getting 2 bedrooms. But that's what you're paying for. You're paying for privacy, and you want to be right downtown and all that kind of stuff. You know, they've remodeled this stuff is very, very old. A lot of this stuff is old. Let's see what else they got now. If you take a look at this, there's Franklin right there. That's Franklin. Here's the house. This is the whole Milwaukee district right here. That's the whole Milwaukee district. 94 is right there. You take Franklin, you're on 94. You go anywhere you want. That's what you're paying for. So people say, well, why does it cost so much? You want to get on 94, you want to head to St. Paul? Let's put it out. Okay, so you're in the Seward neighborhood. This neighborhood, like I told y'all, it was very different. It was a few black people that did live there. Might be some black homeowners, but most of the people that live in the Seward neighborhood or in this little Franklin area, they're not homeowners. A lot of them aren't. You know what I'm saying? So like when you come off of this block and you start going into all the other blocks, you start be like, damn, it's kind of janky. Phillips neighborhood, you know, even some of them houses they be taxing a little bit because you're close to downtown. Loring Park, you can forget about it. You ain't gonna find nothing for less than probably $1,200, and that's gonna be a shack. Powderhorn area, you might find some in there. Kingsfield, you're gonna pay a little more. See, once you start getting over here in these 40s, you're gonna get hit over the head. You try to go over here and mess with Lake Harriet. Try to go over to Lake Harriet and get something for less than a half a ticket. So try to go over to Calhoun and up, you forget about it. They call it Lake Benham, whatever, Calhoun. The white folks still run all the rules. They can change the name all they want. Lake Calhoun. That lake You get around that lake and you mess with these Lake of the Owls, man, you coming in for a ticket. You coming in for a ticket. I just want y'all to kind of see. So if you ain't got no money, I'm gonna tell you where you gonna be. You gonna be over here in Powderhorn, or you gonna be in Phillips. Even over here in Hiawatha, they gonna hit your head because you getting close to the airport. You see what I'm saying? You get over here across the bridge, West River Road, forget about it. You ain't buying nothing. You ain't buying nothing over here. And you ain't getting nothing over here in McAllister Groveland. So either you're going to be in Cedar Riverside, and that's close to downtown, so they still going to hit you in the head a little bit, or you're going to go to Phillips or the Whittier area. But the more you start getting over here in these areas, oh, no, it's a wrap. So guess where you going to be? You going to be over north, or you going to be in Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park. 9 times out of 10, if you're a black person and you making less than $130,000 a year, that's where you gonna be. Or you make your way out and deal with Columbia Heights, but you might as well be over here. Now, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, there's some decent houses over north. I'm not gonna lie to you, there is. Especially when you start going off of Golden Valley Road. When you cross Penn and you keep going on Golden Valley Road, yeah, you might find some little mini mansions over there. Real talk. You gonna find some little mini mansions over there. But if you come around these neck of the woods here, and you think you're gonna get something on Milwaukee for $300, ain't happening. It ain't happening. So, but. Yeah, that's the historic Milwaukee Avenue. I just wanted y'all to, that was one of my little stories because, like I said, I spent a lot of time over there growing up as a kid. So, like I say, there wasn't nothing spectacular about this story or whatever. I just remember that was one of the things because, like I say, I went over to these stories are either about my tech or me getting some money. There was always $1 involved in these stories. Either I was working and I was hustling. I was getting something, So, yeah, that's it, man. We'll go to the next. I uploaded or getting ready to upload the due process analysis. I was going to try to edit out the audio. I'll eventually do that. That's still on my podcast machine, but I got to get some more space and everything, on this laptop because I didn't plan on doing a lot of stuff out of this specific laptop. So unless I switch my other one, but I think I'm gonna keep using this one for a little while. But so I'll upload the Neely Fuller analysis. I'm gonna upload the Sam Goody story. And I'm gonna see if I can knock out at least 3 more stories, story times today. And this might have some music, it may not. I don't know. It takes longer when I start putting the music in, but I like y'all to have some music. So if you're listening to this as like podcast form, you may not want to look at your phone the whole time. So that's why I put the music so I'm just not just talking. You see what I'm saying? So I'll throw something behind here so we at least got something to cruise to. All right, y'all. Appreciate it. If y'all like these stories, man, share these stories, man. I'm probably gonna have some more how-to things coming up too, or some things y'all might want to know about, some new technology you might want to take a look at. So we'll keep it going.